Japanese government has already stated that they feel that an investment into gold is not the same as buying into a currency-backed stable token. So that's an investment versus just holding cash.
Do you see tokenized gold just playing a big role and really stabilizing these markets, and especially, and I know we touched a little bit on it before, but specifically, how do you see what are the guts of integrating it into lending, or actually, more specifically, actually, something else that I wanted to also get your view on is how it can be integrated into staking if we're talking about Cardano.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got two topics about that staking thing. There's a couple cool ideas I want to bring out. But in terms of just using gold as a stable token, bringing it back to our project, since we are in Japan, you might know that Japan vehemently disallows any stable coins to be traded on the regulated exchanges. They don't want to. They don't want the retail buyers in Japan to be able to buy a USDC or USDT from any regulated exchange. They just don't trust that those dollars are actually in the bank, and they don't want to be the ones to audit it. They don't believe that these bonds that they're holding is safe enough. I don't know all the reasons why, but for now, it's just not existent. However, Japanese government has already stated that they feel that an investment into gold is not the same as buying into a currency-backed stable token. So that's an investment versus just holding cash to them. So our big goal is to try, once we can bring it back into Japan, is to become one of those stable pairs on the regulated exchanges for Japanese to go between ETH and Kinka and Bitcoin and Kinka as a trading pair on the regulated exchanges back home. That's one of our big pushes for sure. Now jumping back to staking, so I see two obvious immediate use cases. Is the setting up our own ISPO. Now that we're going into going native onto Cardano, there's a lot of ADA holders out there that have been staking for years. I'm one of them for 5-10 years now. I don't know how long it's been. I still have my first ICO ADA that's still staked. There's people out there that maybe they just don't want to collect ADA yields. So if we set up the ISPO that we're collecting ADA on their behalf, but we're actually going out to buy Kinka on the market, then people are going to start getting Kinka as a reward for staking their ADA. They don't want to sell their ADA. They don't want to lose out on opportunity risks, but they're also happy to start accumulating a more stable asset in Kinka. The other idea, this is actually kind of formalized, brought out to me first by Vinny of Emergo. Great idea, is that you're able to borrow in real world terms. You're able to borrow against physical bullion. So I'm starting to toy with the idea, and this is going to be a much later phase project. Once we need to get into native first, and once we get into the native protocols, we can start lending, stuff like that. But the actual physical bullion, that has a value on itself. So anybody that has Kinka tokens, I'm envisioning an idea where if you stake those tokens into the stake pool that we set up, that basically entitles us to borrow against that amount of gold in the vaults. And then with that borrowed money, we would find some very safe, some treasury bond or something else that actually generates a yield against those physical gold bars. So we would be able to borrow against the gold, buy some kind of yielding asset, purchase more Kinka, and deliver those back to people that are staking it. And as a listed company, as a big gold trading company, those kind of processes are much easier. So trading gold, I mean, you said it before, the hassle of trading physical bullion is actually quite high. It's not that portable. It's not that accessible. You've got storage fees, holding fees. The average person can't just go and buy a block of gold and borrow against it. But if we simplified that for people, especially within the ADA community, I think there'd be interest. We obviously can't make Kinka out of thin air. We can't just put it like an ohm fork and start just generating Kinka tokens like willy-nilly, because they are backed by real-world asset. But I do believe that there's interesting ways that we can add staking to our token. Of course, the governance DAO, whatever that may be, that can of course be staked, and you can multiply and accumulate however you want to on that inflation band. But the Kinka tokens themselves still have staking capabilities, I believe.